Welcome back, Duelists, and thank you. You guys did it. You guys got me up to 250 subscribers, and I promised you guys a special deck, a good budget deck with some strong capability, and I think you'll be able to build this one. I got it just around $30, so it's definitely an under $40 deck. And thank you guys. Let's get you guys a deck list, all right? So the first thing is it's Vanity's Control. So it's all about Vanity. And it's kind of just a bunch of tech combo. And again, it's all super cheap. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to get 3 copies Arc Lord Christia. And again, you're going to notice that mine are from a tin. So that's going to help with pricing. We are going to be using 3 Ash Blossoms. We are going to be using 3 Dimension Shifters. We are going to be using 3 copies of Effect Veiler. 3 copies Seravis, the Ancient and Ascended. We are going to be using 3 of our key card, Vanity's Fiend. And then, of course, one step up, we've got to use 3 copies of the Vanity's Ruler. Over to the spells, we're going to need 3 copies March of the Monarchs, 3 copies Photon Sanctuary, and this was actually a big portion of the cost for the whole deck, was these Photon Sanctuaries, which is crazy because these are just from Battle Pack 2. I should have had a mess of these laying around, but I actually had to go and buy these. These were about $4 or $5 a copy, so they're not terrible. We did need 3 copies Pot of Desires, 3 copies Preparation of Rites, 3 copies of Star Blast. Look at all that little star foil, shatter foil stuff going on. 3 copies of Trade-In and 1 copy of Upstart Goblin. No extra deck today, guys. No extra deck, because we needed no extra deck. So the basis for the whole deck is we want to either have Vanity's Fiend or Ruler face up at almost all times, which stops all special summoning. If it's Vanity's Fiend, it's all special summoning. If it's Vanity's Ruler, it's just the opponent can't special summon. So let's... Maybe not everybody knows every card effect, so let's do that real quick. So, Christia, if you have exactly 4 fairy types in the graveyard, you can special summon this from the hand. When you do, target a fairy in the graveyard, and add that target to your hand. Neither player can special summon monsters. If this face-up card would be sent from the field to the graveyard, return it to the top of the deck instead. Now, it doesn't need to be special summoned. We can play this off the Photon Sanctuary, and no problem. So, just know that. Just know that there's a lot of... there's some other fairies in the deck that we can use between it. I think it was just it and the Vanity's Ruler. So if you end up with a bunch of those in the discard pile anyway, then you would be, of course, able to do that. But this, again, wants to shut down the opponent's special summoning because, again, if the opponent can't special summon, the opponent can't win. It's just that simple. Ash Blossom, we just want to stop their tutors. We want to stop the summoning from the deck, or we want to stop them from sending something from the deck to the discard pile. Very simple. Dimension Shifter is good when we open up in the game. So if you have no cards in your graveyard as a quick effect, you can send this card from the hand to the graveyard until the end of the next turn. Any card that is sent to the graveyard is banished instead. And when I'm looking at a lot of the loops going on, a lot of like the tech decks that do just a crazy amount of something, and I'm just going to use, let's say Salamangreat and let's say Marincess. There's a lot of looping the same cards. And again, if they don't have a discard pile to go to, well, then they can't recycle and keep reusing the same cards. In that, will actually break their ability to win. Dimension Shifter is able to do this for you. And it's just goofy because, again, you can just do this during the opponent's turn, and especially if you had to go second. So, it's good. Effect Veiler, I don't even think we need to talk about Effect Veiler, but honestly, anytime you can negate an opponent's monster's effects for the turn, fantastic. You could break an entire loop by itself. You do have Seravis, and we're just using him for the hand trap ability this round. And so let's just skip through the text to find that. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a monster you control, quick effect, discard, negate the activation. That's the only portion of this we need. The fact that he's a 7-star means that he is searchable with that preparation of rites, which means our hand trap is searchable, which is especially good, especially if you're about to rip into Pot of Desires. You might want to put one of these in your hand real quick before you do your mill 10. Because again, you don't want to banish him if you could have used him. Vanity's Fiend, again, single tribute, 2400, good Monarch strength. And again, if you're going first, there's plenty of ways to be able to special summon, especially with the token spawning Photon Sanctuary. And this will allow you to stop your opponent from special summoning before they do anything. Generalized hate cards are usually in the side deck anymore. So unless they're maining kaijus and stuff, and I don't even think they're allowed to do kaiju because I think this just revolves around the same type of ruling as Gozen Match and Rivalry of the Warlords. So even though they could special summon it by tributing my monster, I don't think they're allowed to try because his effect is already in play. And so that's kind of a big wrinkle for a kaiju player right there. And then again, Vanity's Ruler, just kind of a step up. It's only a 100-point difference, really. But the main, the marketable difference here is now it's just the opponent can't special summon. So now, if I developed into this, I could still activate another Photon Sanctuary another turn and back him up with Christia if I wanted. Fantastic. We do have March of the Monarchs. So any monster that I control that is tribute summoned cannot be targeted by or destroyed by card effects. Again, giving them even further immunities. I can't special summon monsters from the extra deck, so there's no reason to have an extra deck. And again, this will cut off a lot of what you're doing. Inversely, what you could also do here is, instead of running Pot of Desires, since this is already sort of this is the budget version, feel free to add 15 cards to your extra deck and run Pot of Extravagance instead of Desires. You won't blow through your deck as quick. But again, since you don't really need the extra deck, and we're not running, I didn't find space to put Eruption of the Monarchs in here to where I couldn't have the extra deck stay in there. You could still have the extra deck and use it as a resource and just use that as what you're banishing. So that's another possibility. The Photon Sanctuary, special summon 2 Photon tokens, 4-star 2K0. In defense mode, they can't attack or be used for synchro material. And you cannot summon any other cards this turn except Light Attribute. And again, this is for the Archlord Christia, and this is for the Vanity's Ruler. So again, just fantastic. And again, like I said, Desires, you guys could run Extravagance. I'm not trying to make you place a card that is worth almost as much as the whole deck here. Hopefully it's come down a little more in value, though. This will let us banish the top 10, though. Face down, draw 2. Really speeds into it. And again, once we've set up, we just want to win. That's the whole point of this build. Prep of Rites. Add a level 7 ritual monster from the hand, or 7 or lower, sorry. Ritual monster from deck to hand. And then you can add a ritual spell from graveyard to hand. This is just to get Saravius in our hand, just to guarantee that he's there before we rip into the deck with Desires. Star Blast, another fun one. Pay any number of life points in multiples of 500. Reduce the level of a monster I control or that is in my hand by 1 for every 500 points I paid until the end of the turn. And this is just to help you modulate your levels. Or again, you could just pay enough and you could just, I don't know, normal summon Vanity's Fiend, the Ruler, the Archlord Christia. You could just summon them, no tributes. They will not get the benefit of the March of the Monarchs, though. So just keep that in mind. But if it's, in essence, to stop the opponent from special summoning, I'll pay 1,000 life points and play my Vanity's Fiend as a 4-star. It's fine. And then we have Trade-In. Discard a level 8 to draw 2 cards. Again, it's our Archlord Christias. Those are 8s. And the Vanity's Rulers are also 8 stars. So we have 6 targets for the trade-ins. Shouldn't be too bad. I did throw in a single upstart to round this up to from 39 to 40. Again, we just need to draw a card. But you guys can play this. Use this one as a base. This is definitely a fun little budget deck. You take this to locals. You might not take this one to regionals. You probably could, but uh, just be aware of what the local and regional meta is before you do that. Again, this is really supposed to kill anything that's a special summoning deck, and that right now seems to be a big deal. Uh, I wanted to make this, guys, just to thank you guys. It's awesome. I can't believe we made it to 250. And I'm going to do something crazy at 5. We'll do something else at 5, another deck. Something crazy special. I'll see you guys later.